All right. Now, after watching the fight between Lamont Roach and Tank Davis 3 times, I've come to the conclusion that Lamont Roach won the fight 8 rounds to 4. Tank Davis, throughout this fight, the mistakes that he made wasn't just him, but it was his camp as well. Tank usually gets away with fighting tall. What do I mean by that? Tank fights as if he has a 72-inch reach when he only has a 67-inch reach. So he usually fights with the low lead hand, or he'll bring both of his guards up, but he'll end up jumping and reaching because he's standing as tall as he can be standing while he has both of his hands up, or while he has the low hand. What am I saying? I'm saying he's not bending down, he's not bobbing, he's not weaving, he's not taking advantage of his lack of stature. So instead, he fights as if he's tall. The reason he gets away with it is because he's a freak athlete. He's a great boxer. He has good timing, all of that. He's usually faster than his opponent. When he fought against Roach, Roach was fighting with the L guard or the shoulder roll. And Roach was staying tall and hiding behind his shoulder a lot of times, or he would just catch shots. He was also a larger man than Tank, and he knew it, and he wasn't intimidated. So every time when Tank would come with a big shot, Roach, if he didn't get hit, he would roll and counter, catch and counter, and hit Tank with a big shot as well. Tank felt it, and that's why Tank decided he was going to fight this fight on the back foot, the same way he fought against Rolly, the same way he fought against Ryan, because Tank is smaller than all these guys, and he doesn't want to be getting beat on by these dudes over the course of 12 rounds. Another thing that Tank did wrong was the herky-jerky movements, the Sean Porter movements early in the fight. That takes a lot of energy. He actually won those rounds, those early rounds, like round 3 and 4, doing those movements. But in the later rounds, after he's taken some big body shots, or after he's tried to turn it on with the power and he expended some energy, that's when he needed to start dipping, bobbing, and weaving more like a Mike Tyson. Because you want to be able to make a guy miss without using your legs all the time. That way you can have energy to let them hands go. That's why Lamont looks so much better than Tank in the late rounds. Lamont doesn't move much. He'll take a step here and there, a step back or two here and there, but he doesn't move much. He stands his ground and he makes you miss right in front. With the turtle, the shoulder roll, he'll put his guard up. Lamont is a very, very stationary fighter, very conservative fighter, efficient fighter. Tank, he fell in love with, his power in this fight. He fell in love with his athleticism. He thought he was just going to be able to bang a big shot off of Lamont's temple. But a lot of times, Lamont rolled with the shot, took off with the shot from stepping backwards, or put his guard up and caught the shot. And of course, he would get hit a little bit as well, but he had a very, very tight defense. Tank hasn't fought anybody on that level who has that much defense in his entire career, and he's 30 years old. That's another mistake that they made. You want to test the waters early as possible. That way you get the wrinkles for later. If Tank would have fought a Gary Russell or a Tevin Farmer early in his career, he would have been ready for Lamont. But you can't go from fighting Frank Martin, fighting Ryan Garcia, to fighting a Lamont Roach, a man who's defended his championship multiple times by now. Ryan has never been a world champion. Frank Martin has never been a world champion. Think about that. Ryan Garcia has never been a world champion. Frank Martin has never been a world champion. Lamont Roach really supposed to be a 2-time division champion now. He got robbed. But not only has he been a world champion, he's defended his belt. So you're talking about a totally different realm. And he's been boxing his entire life, working on skills. Another thing that Tank went wrong with was the camp. I believe that he needs one corner man in his ear. He doesn't need all these guys talking at the same time. They need to organize that. And I think Coach Calvin should be the main corner man, because Calvin gets Tank amped and gets him ready. Another thing he messed up with, leaving Floyd Mayweather, going against Floyd. Floyd told Tank uncomfortable truths. If you go look at Tank's first fight in the PBC, he gets a knockout. But right before the knockout, Floyd says, "Tank, you're not using your jab, Tank. You're not using your jab." Tank gets the knockout. Years later, Tank still wasn't using his jab on the biggest stage. Early on he was, then he stopped. Tank says, Floyd hating on him. Floyd don't want him to surpass him. The way that Tank's career has gone, Tank never had a chance to surpass Floyd. Floyd was fighting top dogs in his early 20s. Tank fought his first top dog at 30 years old. He was never going to surpass nothing. Tank is good in his own right, but he was nowhere near, the realm of Floyd. Floyd had no reason to hate. Tank should have stayed with Floyd and continued to develop. When Tank was losing to the big fella at 140, Mario Barrios, who told him you down on the unofficial, who kept it real with him. Tank said, "Why would you tell me that? Why would you tell me that?" Motherfucker, that's what you needed to hear. That's why Floyd said, that's what you needed to hear. Floyd is somebody, just like Floyd's father would tell him. What, you scared? Floyd's father told Floyd in the Pacquiao fight, what, you scared of this motherfucker? So that's what Floyd is used to. Floyd is used to that hard, that masculine energy, bro. It is what it is. Tank wasn't ready for that. That's why he don't like Floyd. Calvin talking about, I like to let Tank do what he want to do. I understand Tank is grown, but you having raised Tank as y'all claim you did, you shouldn't have no problem telling them the truth. Even if you just do it behind closed doors, you should have no problem telling them, look, motherfucker, we need you to let them hands go. We need you to have heart. We gotta go after these top dogs. But it is what it is. These are some of the mistakes that Tank made. Now on the flip side, Tank Davis, he said at the end of the fight, the reason why it was competitive because he made it competitive. Now, the first 6 rounds I had it 4-2 for Tank. And I believe him. If he would have just kept jabbing and stabbing, straight shots, moving around, if he would have accepted that I'm going to have to outbox him, I cannot outfight him. Lamont got more natural heart and grit than Tank. Lamont is slower than Tank. You know what that means? His timing has to be that much better. Lamont's timing has to be better than Tank because he's slower than him. So Lamont has more experience taking his time, countering, staying in the pocket. And Lamont proved that he's a better inside fighter than Tank. He said it, and he proved it. But these are some of the things that I noticed Tank, he got away from. If Tank kept doing what he did the first 6 rounds, he wins the fight 8-4. Lamont's feet can't keep up with Tank's feet. Lamont don't have the reflexes Tank has. If Tank just kept turning him, boxing him, jabbing him, you can't knock everybody out. And that's something that Tank would have learned had he been challenged early on in his career. Now, make sure y'all come to my Patreon and see some of my breakdowns and things of that nature. And I appreciate everybody that supports the videos.